Select all the photos containing mountains. Do it! Prove you're not a bot!
Can you circle all the traffic lights, please? You actually did it. That is very impressive performance. Okay, now we can initiate the interview procedure.
Every traffic light you ever clicked online was training data for a $126 billion self-driving car company. You didn't sign up for the job signed you up. And Google is just the first name on the list. When you rated a chatbot answer, you shaped how the next model thinks. When you corrected AI output at work, you donated your professional judgment to your employer's proprietary model. And in garment factories across India, workers are strapping cameras to their foreheads, filming their own hands, so robots can learn the movements they spent a lifetime mastering. Some of this happened without anyone knowing.
देखिए ना, हम लोग तो पूछा है ना, हम लोग कुछ बोले हैं। डायरेक्ट कैमरा आया, बोला कैमरा लगाना है। हम लोग बोले किस लिए लगाना है? वो बोला कि प्रचार के लिए।
Some of it happened to people who saw exactly what was going on and couldn't stop it anyway.
They're recording our work to prepare and train a robot, which is making us a bit worried, as it will affect our work.
This is how AI turned human work into its most valuable raw material, and how almost nobody got paid a cent for their free labor. It starts with something you've done 10,000 times. A blurry grid of images, traffic lights, a crosswalk, a fire hydrant. Click all the ones that match. You clicked, the gate opened, you moved on, you were working. In 2007, a computer scientist named Luis von Ahn invented reCAPTCHA. The original version used distorted words from old books that optical software couldn't read. Humans could. So every time someone proved they weren't a robot, they transcribed a word from a century-old book. Within 1 year, 440 million words transcribed. By 2011, the entire New York Times archive digitized. Back to 1851, by people who thought they were just blocking spam. Then Google bought reCAPTCHA in 2009, and the mission quietly changed. Version 2 replaced the words with image grids. Click traffic lights. Click crosswalks. Click storefronts. Those images came from Google Street View. Every square you selected was quality checking Google's Street View imagery, the same imagery Waymo was using to teach machines to read the road. Waymo is now worth $126 billion.
Waymo, in other news, is fueling up for a major expansion, has raised another $16 billion, pushing its valuation to about $126 billion.
Nobody told you that when you clicked. Researchers at UC Irvine ran the full numbers in 2023. 819 million hours of unpaid human labor, $6.1 billion in wages that were never paid. At peak, 200 million CAPTCHAs solved every single day. That is 555,000 hours of free work given away daily without a contract or a choice. Version 3 has no puzzle at all. No grid, no images, no clicks. It just watches you. Mouse movements, keystroke timing, browsing patterns, browser fingerprints, all harvested silently on every website where it runs. The UC Irvine team had a name for it. A tracking cookie farm for profit, masquerading as a security service. Bots now beat humans at CAPTCHA. 85% accuracy for bots, 81% for humans. Bots finish in under a second. Humans take 9 to 15. The test no longer works. Google keeps running it anyway. By 2022, AI researchers were facing a problem no one wanted to name publicly. The models were getting bigger. The data wasn't. Epoch AI ran the numbers. The total stock of high-quality human-generated text on the public internet had a ceiling. Around 300 trillion tokens. At current training rates, that ceiling gets hit somewhere between 2026 and 2032. The models were eating through human knowledge faster than humans could produce it. More compute wouldn't fix this. The answer wasn't scale. It was signal. Specifically, human feedback. Not raw text, corrected text, ranked outputs, demonstrated behavior. OpenAI's own research paper proved how much it mattered. Their Instruct GPT model used just 40 contractors hired through Scale AI and Upwork. Those 40 people ranked model outputs, rewrote responses, and showed the model better answers. A 1.3 billion parameter model trained on their feedback outperformed the raw 175 billion parameter version. It beat a model 130 times its own size. 40 contractors, 3 months of feedback. That was the variable that changed everything. Scraping gave AI information. Human feedback gave it behavior. So someone built the factory. Not a factory with smokestacks, a factory with APIs. Alexandr Wang was 19 when he left MIT. His parents were physicists at Los Alamos. He had placed in the US Math Olympiad and the US Physics team. He could have built almost anything. He built a marketplace for human attention. Scale AI's product was deceptively simple. AI companies sent tasks through a clean API. Humans on the other end completed them. Label this image, rank these outputs, rewrite this response. The company sat exactly between the people doing the work and the models learning from it. Y Combinator, which funded Scale in 2016, described the original pitch plainly: a simple API for human labor. That description was more honest than it sounded. By 2025, Scale AI was the data backbone behind OpenAI, Anthropic, and Microsoft, and the US Department of Defense. Then Meta invested $14.3 billion for a 49% stake. Wang left as CEO to become Meta's chief AI officer. Google reportedly planned to exit Scale entirely after the deal. Training data had become too sensitive to share with a company Meta now partly owned. Human-labeled data was supposedly cheap background work. Meta paid $14.3 billion to get closer to the company that organizes it. Wang didn't build the most famous AI. He built the human layer underneath all of them. The people inside Scale AI's pipeline had real job titles: writers, coders, lawyers, doctors, financial analysts. They found the work on platforms called Outlier, Remo Tasks, Mercor. The ads promised $25 to $40 an hour for AI improvement work. What they were actually doing was RLHF, reinforcement learning from human feedback, ranking model outputs, rewriting AI responses, teaching machines how their profession thinks, teaching machines to do their jobs. OpenAI contracted Kenyan workers through a company called Sama at $12.50 an hour per worker. The workers received $2. The value moved upward. The trauma stayed with the people doing the work.
Content. These odd jobs came in around the clock. She was paid by the task, often just cents. Over time, the work became more and more sinister.
As time goes by, the content that you've exposed yourself to, now it's to harm you.
Scale AI settled 4 California lawsuits in 2025. Terms were never disclosed. 1 in 5 U.S. data workers has experienced homelessness. The Communications Workers of America surveyed these workers in 2025. 52% knew they were training AI to replace other workers. 36% believed they were specifically training the system designed to replace themselves. They continued anyway, because the alternative was worse. This is where the story splits. One group was tricked into contributing. The other could see it clearly. The system was built so that seeing it changed nothing. KPMG built a dashboard. It tracks how often each of its 10,000 U.S. advisory employees uses AI. It compares each person to their peers. It sets a 75% usage target. Managers can see who is below it. Inside Amazon, employees built an informal leaderboard called Kiro Rank. It ranked developers by how many AI tokens they sent through company tools. Employees figured out they could game it, run fake tasks, inflate the score. Amazon shut Kiro Rank down on May 29, 2026, after the fake usage spiked its own API costs. Their message to staff: don't use AI just to use AI. When a surveillance metric becomes a target, the behavior it was meant to measure disappears. Meta went further. An internal program tracked employee keystrokes, mouse clicks, and screen content to train its AI models. When 1,600 employees signed a petition, engineers described the experience to Wired in one word: the gulag. bathroom flyers appeared across Meta's California offices. Meta has become an employee data extraction factory. HSBC's CEO publicly urged all staff to adapt in May 2026. The bank is weighing cuts of up to 20,000 jobs through AI. Almost every Fortune 500 is now tracking overall AI usage. In banks and law firms, analysts and legal advisors are required to use internal AI tools. Correcting the model's output is part of the job description. The correction is the product. The new factory doesn't look like a factory. It looks like a dashboard. In garment factories near Delhi, workers arrived for their shifts to find something new waiting: a small camera mounted on their foreheads. The Guardian documented it in June 2026. Every hand movement, every stitch, every shortcut built over years of work, recorded, transferred to AI companies in the United States. No written consent, no separate compensation. The footage went into robot training systems. This is what the next extraction layer looks like. Not text, not clicks, not professional judgment held in a brain. Physical memory stored in hands. In research labs, this pipeline already has a name and a product catalog. Manus haptic gloves track 25 degrees of hand motion. Every wrist rotation, every pressure point, tokenized into spatial training data. NVIDIA made Manus gloves a native input device for its Isaac Lab robot training platform at GTC 2026. In a separate Stanford and Meta project, human demonstrations alone taught a dexterous humanoid entirely new tasks, with no robot training data required. When this technology reaches the factory floor, and the economics say it won't arrive labeled as robot training data collection. It will arrive as an ergonomic analytics program, a tool to protect workers from joint fatigue. Follow the data cables past the HR brochures. Figure AI published its results in February 2025. Helix was trained on roughly 500 hours of human teleoperation across multiple robots and operators. 109,000 lines of hand-coded instructions, replaced by a neural model built on human movement. 500 hours. 15 months later, Figure live-streamed its robots sorting packages through an 8-hour warehouse shift. 0 failures. More than 30,000 packages. Then the British Medical Association held its annual meeting in Brighton, June 2026. A surgeon named Dr. Ross Neuwout presented a motion. Robotic surgical training systems lock their modules behind terms and conditions. To access the training, surgeons click Agree. That click signs away their operative data. 20 years of technique, error correction, and procedural judgment handed to the manufacturer. The BMA passed a motion calling for legislation to stop it. Neuwout described a hypothetical scenario set in 2035. You're watching yourself operate. Except it isn't you. It's the robot you trained on. The one that wouldn't unlock your training modules until you clicked Agree on the terms and conditions. Someone built a private World of Warcraft server. Not to play it, to fill it. 1,800 AI players powered by DeepSeek. They quest, they chat, they argue about old talent trees in the trade channel. The server buzzes like the game never emptied out. Monthly cost? Under £10. Less than a Netflix subscription. The cost of simulating a city of people has fallen below the cost of one dinner. GameSpot noted one limitation. The chat wasn't connected to the gameplay scripts. These bots could talk like players. They couldn't yet coordinate like players. Which makes it more disturbing, not less. This is not the final version of artificial life online. It is the cheap first draft. And this is only the version that talks. The version that acts, that raids, quests, and coordinates autonomously is already being built. 51% of internet traffic in 2024 was bots. The first time in over a decade that bots outnumbered humans online. The training data for the next generation of models is already majority non-human. Models learning from their own reflections. The platform you are watching this on recently began asking users, does this feel like AI slop? Billions of unpaid raters, right now. Sam Altman posted on X last year, I never took the dead internet theory that seriously. But it seems like there are really a lot of LLM-run accounts now. The man whose company built the machine that made the bots seemed surprised by the bots. Run the line from one end to the other. At one end, Someone's grandmother clicking a traffic light in 2015. No idea she was donating labor to a $126 billion company. No idea the gate she was unlocking wasn't there to keep bots out. It was there to get her in. At the other end, the meta-engineer calling it a gulag from their own desk. The surgeon clicking agree because not clicking means not training on the machine that replaces them anyway. The garment worker filming their own hands because the camera came with the shift. Across the entire line, zero awareness to full awareness, the outcome was the same. The compensation was nothing, or not enough to matter. Your corrections became their alignment. Your prompts became their product research. Your workplace became their training loop. Your hands became their robotics data set. Once that knowledge enters the model, it copies itself forever, at zero cost, for every model that comes after. We were told AI would work for us, but first, all of us worked for AI.